Hey guys, God bless you and good morning. Um, I just wanted to just kind of do a quick video off the cuff here, something I don't normally do. I like to be real organized and have everything lined up and all my thoughts together. And sometimes that's the best way to do business. This morning I just felt an urge to kind of come on here real quick and just share something with you. So grab your cup of coffee, whatever you like there. Um, all kinds of stuff. I don't see any cream and sugar. I like a lot of cream and a lot of sugar in mine. But anyway, that looks pretty bad. But anyway, okay. So with my job as a deputy, we have a program. It's called the Teen Interception Program, and it's every few months. And what I do is I kind of just volunteer and I go and give my testimony of um, kind of my life, I guess, essentially, and how things have affected me and issues I had as a teenager. Most of these kids come from drugs, alcohol, trouble at home, anger issues, things of that nature. I didn't have a lot of drugs or alcohol in my past until I got in the military. I grew up in a strict home, religious home, and I kind of rebelled. I had a lot of hate. I, my mom got a divorce when I was real young. I remember my dad was very violent. We literally walked out of the home. I didn't even have shoes on, and I remember my mom carrying me. I remember because I was in Colorado, and Colorado has these things they call them, surprisingly enough, devil's heads, and there are these thorns that get in your. They used to get my bike tires and stuff, but I remember stepping on these thorns and my mom carrying me to her friend's house where she got her things together eventually, and uh, while my dad was detained and got some stuff out of the house, and literally we left with everything that we had pretty much on our backs and whatever we could pack quickly. And so I share that, and that caused a lot of bitterness and a lot of hate and a lot of resentment because I did love my dad even though he was violent, and it was just a real hard case when he got drunk, and it's just really a bad situation. So my mom remarried and a man of God and which I needed in my life. I didn't. I rebelled the whole time till I was 18. Joined the military. Did all the stuff in the military. The commercial stuff. Jumping out of planes and stuff. Had a lot of good times. Got into drugs and alcohol there, and then eventually became kind of a adrenaline kind of took the drug of my choice uh, from doing what I was doing in the military, and I loved mountain biking, hiking, scuba diving, anything that was had some sort of adrenaline rush to it. Anyway, so I explain this to the kids, but what I talk about is I kind of talk about in the military how there's selfless service. In the military, nothing's ever for you. You do everything for your unit. So, which means your buddy to your squad to your platoon, company, whatever. And as I gained rank, and even from the very beginning, I mean, I was to show discipline, to show the troops that you care about them. You're the last one to eat. You're the first one to get up in the morning. You're the last one to go to sleep. You do the hardest things. You hit the things head on so that they will follow you. In combat, I was always the first one in the first vehicle. I was the first one to get out of the vehicle. I was the first one to do everything, as best I could. And that's what carried over to selfless service. And as you could watch my testimony on my channel. So uh, as I got out of the military, went into the Department of State, working for them. That's when I found the Lord in 2012. And as I read the Bible, I found out and discovered that really love it's a two-person concept. It's not a one-person thing. You can't say I love you and that person not love you back. There's no love there. It's a um, it's a mutual sacrifice. How I described it was it's a mutual sacrifice between two people who care for each other. So I give up things I like to do in order for your betterment. You give up things you like to do in order for your betterment. And I entail that, of course, with Jesus Christ. One thing about our law enforcement agency, it's wonderful. The sheriff's a Christian, and when I say Christian, I mean he doesn't care if you witness about Christ. I mean, some Christians, we all know there's varying degrees out there right now, and I wouldn't say he's fully awake. I don't talk to him much, but I'm sure he's seeing obviously what's going on in the world, and is concerned and very concerned. However, the missionary I told you that leads this, so sharing her testimony is not just a secular thing. It's she has people in there who found Christ, and so I'm sharing this testimony, and I'm talking about mutual love and sacrifice. And I said, the world tries to define love as tolerance, which is a one-sided acceptance of poor behavior, and there is no mutual sacrifice there. There's no love there. And it was really a rough day for me because uh, these kids, it was one-sided. It was me talking and them being probably bored. And I went out to the truck and I was just like, you know what? I don't know why I'm doing any of this. What good is this doing? And I prayed, and I don't know. It was just disheartening. Trying to wake people up, trying to show them the truth of everything, and thinking back on this love again, I was drawn to the passage of thinking and studying on the fruit that we've been looking at. I was drawn to the passage of "I know you not" in Matthew 25. Very scary passage as people see. And I got to thinking about that passage, and I was like, well, no means uh, to lay with, to make, it's intimacy, it's love. Adam knew Eve, knows, that we all know that's intercourse, and I thought about that for a minute, and I was like, and one thing in this channel that I constantly talk about is, the leaders of this world and of our country have quote unquote fornicated, spiritually fornicated with these fallen entities, and that's why we're getting this bad fruit in this country. And I thought, well, it's the same thing with this "I know you not" with Jesus. It's been a one-sided thing. That's why the unwise virgins are left out of the door, is because there's no intimacy. There's no sacrifice between the two. Well, of course, it's one-sided. Jesus, died and rose again, gave his life, left his heavenly estate. He could have started over with creation. He could have done, could have done whatever he want. We'd have no recollection of anything. And so we see that sacrifice, that one-sided sacrifice, but we don't see it with the unwise virgins. It's go get your oil, go get your wisdom, go find out who I am, go understand who I am and what I've done. And once you have that, you can start producing fruit, and the door will open. And some might say, well, when it's over, it's over. You can't, once those 5 wise go in, it's a done deal. And I would say, well, turn to Luke 12:36, and it says, and I'm saying this to give people hope too, guys. Let me go to that verse real quick. It's and ye yourselves unto like men that wait for their Lord when he returns from the wedding, that he cometh and knock, that they will open up to him immediately. So, and then I was talking to a friend this morning, Tim Foster, and we were talking about the outer darkness versus a punishment forever. And it says, he did a study on outer darkness. It says in the Bible, I can't remember the exact number, 3 times roughly, you'll be cast into outer darkness, cast into outer darkness. And that's not a permanent place for you. That's a place for you to learn. It's a place where you're going to be forced to make a decision, essentially. But anyway, it's not a permanent thing. It's a testing time, all right, to understand, that indeed his word is true, and there is wisdom, and there is these things, and there is a way for you to establish that intimacy with him. And that's what it's all about, establishing that intimacy to produce fruit. And that fruit comes from the labor of love, from your for your God and for your fellow brother and sister. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you this morning. Um, just probably some of you were like, I already knew that, but anyway, hope it blesses you. Have a great day.